Husna, outros with you take so long. Like, let's just end it, man. Let's just end it. Why are you
I don't want a 5 minute episode. I'm joking.
Trust
All
me,
right.
we've gone past 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ramadan Radio. I hope you're having a blessed Ramadan, and I hope that everyone's used to the whole Ramadan and Tarawih and fasting and iftar schedule, and that it's become easier, and that it's going very, very, very wonderful. I'm Narja from New Jersey, and I am here with Husna from Texas. Hi, Husna.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me again.
Of course, thank you for joining us. Today, we will be talking about a very brief description of Ramadan across the world from the perspective of 3 different countries, the United States, Egypt, and Turkey. Husna, would you like to start with talking to us about Ramadan in Turkey?
Of course. Well, if you've watched episode 8, you should already know of a couple of my memories from Ramadans in Turkey. Ramadans, my bad. Iftars in Turkey. In Turkey, my father's side, I guess I can say they're a little traditional in a sense where it's the exact scenario that you'd see in like a Turkish drama. With all these families coming over, children everywhere, elders everywhere. It's like no one's aware of one another. You can easily just disappear and no one will ever notice. But it's very nice, very fun. There's always a lot of food. And my father's side, they're from Çorum, which is like a city in Turkey. They usually bake a lot of bread-related food. And that's like my favorite type of food. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to eat all this. But after soup, I couldn't eat anything because my stomach was already full to the brim. But yeah, how about you, Marjan? I know you had a one-in-a-lifetime experience of Ramadan in Egypt. How was that for you?
Before I move on to Egypt, though, I do want to add something about Turkey and where I lived. I'm assuming this is the same for everywhere in Turkey, but they blow a cannon to signal that it's iftar time. I don't know if any other country does that, but they literally blow a cannon.
You mean sahur?
No, for iftar time.
No, girl, I've never seen that. I guess I just live in a small village. Well, my grandparents.
Wait a second. I lived in Samsun in Turkey. It's in the area towards the Black Sea. And there we would have a cannon that would blow to signal that it was iftar time. And
then what's the purpose of the Islam?
I don't know. Hold on. You're confusing me now, okay? But it was a thing, you know? We would go out to the balcony and we wait for it to, for the cannon to blow. Okay, you're really confusing me now. I was very
I think
young.
you need to check your facts real quick.
No, hold on, let's check our facts. So the idea of the cannon blowing, it's a tradition that came from the Ottoman Empire to signal that the iftar time has come and that people could break their fast.
So why did they come up with such a thing if there's already the Adhan?
I don't know. That's a perfect topic for another episode, I'm assuming, because clearly we both don't know much about that. Anyhow, so that's my experience from Turkey, and that's one thing that's really significant as children just waiting for it to blow. And because it's so fast, you see it before you hear it, which was really interesting. I was like, whoa, physics at such a young age. You find out a little bit more about that. Whatever, off topic. Coming to Egypt, so I had the privilege of living in Egypt, in Cairo, Egypt, around a year in the city to study Arabic, and I've had the privilege of experiencing Ramadan. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It's a Muslim country, predominantly Muslim country. And one significant thing I recall is the Maidatul Rahman. I believe if I pronounced it correctly, but the tables of Rahmah. And it's basically like just iftar tables set up in the streets that everyone could come and eat for free. And that was absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever eaten in one just because of, we've had other iftar set up, but that was definitely amazing. Everyone had something to eat, alhamdulillah, during the month. And all the streets would be quiet and silent because everyone's eating iftar. And let me tell you, Tarawih was beautiful, beautiful, because we would pray out in the open. I mean, you could pray both in the mosque, and if there was space available, which even in smaller mosques, there was usually space available to pray outside. So praying Tarawih in the open air with the Imam's recitation just like booming in the air, it was absolutely amazing. And then there was after Tarawih, everywhere would be open, like cafes and smoothie places. So we would go, my friends and I would go and grab some smoothies, some asir. I enjoyed that. And then during Suhoor time, people are usually streets are very awake. And there's the drummer. There is usually like a drummer who, goes across the streets and kind of like drums or plays a different instrument. I forgot what he was playing, but to signal that it was Suhoor time. Outside of that, I'm trying to recall. It was just a very magical time in general. Oh, the streets are very decorated. There's a lot of lanterns and Ramadan-specific decoration all across the streets. And what was I gonna say? Oh, there's a lot of stores and boutiques that sell Ramadan lanterns and decorations as well.
That's very nice. Sadly, I didn't get to experience Ramadan in Egypt. I had to go back to America because of COVID. I went to Egypt a year after Mercan, actually, but sadly we had to return 2 months, I think, before Ramadan. But because we had entered the holy 3 months, if I don't incorrectly recall, they had started decorating the streets already. And I was curious because I wasn't aware that they were decorating it because Ramadan was coming. So I remember asking my teachers, like, oh, like the streets are decorated, what's happening? It's like, well, Ramadan is coming, we need to get ready. and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because like obviously you're not going to see that in America. I mean, just even during Jummah time in Egypt, it's a completely different atmosphere. And also, I remember just when we would like go around early in the morning to certain places, Egypt has, I guess, that culture, I mean, this is a little off topic, but where they have breakfast tables. So I'm not shocked that they have it for iftar as well. Honestly,
what do you mean by breakfast tables?
Like in front of like a certain shop or like anywhere, or masjid, they'll have like a table with like bread, just like eggs, cooked eggs, a couple vegetables, and people would just come eat their breakfast and go off into their day.
I had no idea.
You've never come across? Yeah, there was like
never.
I was quite shocked when I saw. I don't know, it was quite interesting. I mean, imagine doing that here. It would honestly be a really nice opportunity for, I don't know, I guess the community that Muslims live in.
Speaking of which, Ramadan in America, what do you feel about that?
Good question.
Ramadan, we try so hard, I feel like, as Muslims in America to make it feel like Ramadan, just because our entire environment just does not does not recognize that it's Ramadan. I know children, especially, they fast, and their teachers, like no one. Even when I was dorming in college, I remember the dining halls, they would always put up decoration for holidays. For Hanukkah, for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Black History Month. And then I remember during Ramadan, I was waiting for them to put something up, but they didn't. And then I was so disappointed. And overall, I was just disappointed with the food in general, especially fasting. It wasn't very sustainable, whatever. I did write a long email that I CC'd everyone in my university's different departments about it, about my complaints. Not complaints, but rather, it was just didn't feel nice. It didn't feel welcoming that Ramadan wasn't celebrated. But it's, as Muslims, we try to do everything that we can. We decorate our homes, we meet up with people, we make events, and we try to go to Tarawih. Even in mosques, I mean, maybe not everywhere across the states. I'm sure some states are more freeing in the sense that the imam's voice could even be carried out or be amplified beyond the mosque, which is usually not something that can happen in the United States because there's a strict, no sound policies, I'm assuming, which is really sad, because it would be amazing if we could pray outside in the open air in Ramadan. I don't know, what do you think about Ramadan in the United States?
I mean, and I don't know how it is in New Jersey, but in Texas, there's Maryam Masjid and also the Raindrop Turkish Cultural Center. And with both, because of the amount of people that go to Tarawih, half the people are praying outside already. So the voices, I guess, in a sense, allowed to go outside the building a little bit, or they use like the second imam method, where there's a second imam who says Allah Akbar and stuff. And then other than that, I think if you don't decorate your house, or just like if your family doesn't prep the environment for Ramadan, you'll definitely not feel it, because you either have to make sure that the 2 months that are given to you before Ramadan are used properly so that you spiritually feel ready for Ramadan, or you need at least some type of environmental decoration to bring that atmosphere into your house. So if those two are missing, sometimes it's quite empty, but Alhamdulillah, we have centers that work towards fulfilling at least that emptiness that might happen in certain households. So I guess like going to Taraweeh and stuff really do help me feel the Ramadan atmosphere. And then also like iftars, because if your family isn't the type of family who invites people over regularly, Ramadan's that one time where it's just like the house is crowded with children, with parents. You're just helping them. You're bringing the food, you're cleaning, you're preparing food the whole entire day. You're cleaning the house. Just that stress sometimes even like gets you excited. And obviously in the summer, it was better, or during COVID, that 1 year in COVID, where everyone got to stay home and like you could just read Quran for hours or do whatever. And there's like nothing to prevent you or stop you from doing otherwise. But then when you have a lot of schoolwork too, sometimes, as you said, if like the school environment doesn't do anything to also help you feel that, even though they do it for other holidays, that's sometimes a little saddening. But yeah, how do you feel about Ramadan in America? I talked too much.
Exactly as you said. I think if we don't make a deliberate effort to make it feel like Ramadan, it's very easy to forget that it's Ramadan, just because sadly our environment isn't very appreciative or isn't very aware of it. And it's also like it's a long month, so I know Jewish holidays too. We're also very not aware of Jewish holidays usually. It's a very special time for them, and it's around a month long too, I believe, or a longer period of time. You know, it's something that we should definitely be aware of in the States. So that was very briefly a discussion on Ramadan in 3 different countries. There's a lot more, and we would love to hear more of your experiences, especially for those of you who live in Egypt, who live in other places, in other countries. If you have unique Ramadan experiences in your countries, please share your stories with us. And we would love to read them and talk about it in our next episodes. Have a wonderful and blessed Ramadan. Husna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and have a blessed Ramadan, everyone. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below, and keep in touch with Ramadan Radio, and hopefully maybe one day you'll also get to be a guest speaker here. If you do, I guess we could just leave a comment down below, right? Saying, hey, I want to talk about this with y'all. Let me in. I guess we'll try to reach out.
Outros with you take so long. Like, let's just end it, man. Just end it.
I don't want a 5-minute episode. I'm joking.
Trust me, we've gone past 5 minutes. Okay.
Bye, everyone.